Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Kathy Wesley, and I'm going to be your host this evening for a Q&A with the Lamas from KTD on the topic of shamatha. I know that you have been attending the classes the last few weeks, including the first class, Why Meditate with Lama Karma, who unfortunately can't be with us tonight. Also, class number 2, Dealing with Torpor and Agitation, which was taught by Lama Tom, who is here this evening. And then the skills, mindfulness and alertness, which was shared by somebody named Lama Kathy. And then class number 4, the 4 stages of shamatha, presented by Lama Losang. And so this evening, we're here for you to answer your questions. And if you have questions about any of the topics we discussed in the first 4 classes, or if you want to check in about how your shamatha is going, you can do that. There are 2 methods to convey questions. The first will be to convey them in the chat. You can convey some questions in the chats. This way, we can keep the questions flowing. And other folks, if we don't have questions showing up in the chat, folks can unmute. So we'll start and see if we get any questions in the chat. This is going to be a less formal meeting than our previous ones. We will encourage everyone to take refuge in their heart and offer their participation in the course this evening with the Bodhisattva motivation that what they offer will be of benefit to all sentient beings. And so thanks everybody for being here. It's great to see you. So let's see if any questions are here. Yes. Okay, here we go. We're starting with a question in Mandarin. I may need some help with translation because I don't see Lama Mark here, but maybe he is here. I just am not seeing him.
We're watching for him, but have not seen it, so we have not started Chinese translation yet.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see if we can get lucky on this. Let's see. So anybody, I tell you what, Meow, what we'll do is I'm copying your question and then we'll see if we can get a way to take care of that.
The question was, is there Chinese translation?
Oh, very good. I like it when it's easy. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. Anybody else have questions this evening? Okay, so now we'll start asking folks to use your raise hand function, which is under reactions. If you could raise your hand that way, or you can raise your hand the old-fashioned way on the video.
Yeah, if you've got your video on.
Yeah, right. This could be an extremely short class tonight. But do feel welcome to check in about your practice if you have specific questions.
We have a question in the chat.
Very good. All right. The question is from Jared. I have the 9 stages of shamatha in my notes written down, but no explanation. What are the 9? This is an excellent question. I'm going to have to make a little bit of a scrub here through the outline of the next few classes because it may come up later.
It's not directly one of the topics.
Okay. Well, if I remember correctly, under if you can, I don't know. Yunten, what happens with the notes that I submit to Linda to put on the
on the class page?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything that is sent there, Linda should be putting out and sending an email saying that something has been posted. And that email goes to everybody who's enrolled in the class, and everybody who's enrolled in the class can get to the link using their email address that they registered for the class with.
Okay, great. Okay, so Jared, I'm going to give you a partial answer here. By the way, I see that Khenpo Sangye is interested in seeing the he is free from his evening puja duty and he would like to join, but he does need the link because I think he doesn't understand about the pinned text that we put up for him. So, Jared, the 9 stages of shamatha are another method for describing the stages of shamatha. I think Khenpo Karthar Rinpoche's succinct presentation of 4 stages, using the example of the waterfall, which is lots of thoughts at the beginning, and then the rolling river for the second stage, and the third stage being the lake with waves, and then the final stage, the 4th stage, being the lake without waves. I think that's pretty general, but there's also a presentation of the 9 stages of shamatha that is a kind of a classic presentation, and folks will have seen this. And I think I sent a listing of the 9 stages along with the drawing as a, I think I put it in with my notes for my class, since we talked about it a little bit during my class. But I'm going to see if other folks, what do the other lamas here think? Would you like to talk about that tonight, or is because I do have the picture queued up.
Yeah, well, we can set it up and talk about it. It's if you have it set up, but
I
there
do.
are the 9 stages: placement and continuous attention and repeated attention. So if you can go ahead and put that up, or if that we have that question. Yeah.
Okay, let's see if we can make that happen. I do have this. Okay, very good. So this is this is a like a hand drawing of it. You can see it's a little drama here where the meditator, that's us, is chasing their mind in the form of an elephant and being led by a monkey, surprise. It talks about them being covered with like the black color. I prefer to think of them as being covered in mud. That's kind of my thought. And that gradually, as the meditation improves, they get a little bit cleaner. So, Lama Losang, did you want to say a few things about this?
Well, just what you can say what the 9 stages are. We can go into deeper detail, but the first one is placement. So we're setting the mind on the object of focus. So, when we talked about it in my class, we talked about breath, but there's focusing on with an object or without an object. There's a variety of things that you can use as an object of focus, but that is the first is. Setting the mind on that object of focus, whatever it is that you have done. And then you highlighted from that is number 2, continuous placement or continuous attention, maintaining attention for longer and longer periods. That is the second, maintaining attention for longer periods of time. And the third is repeated attention. So, we have to continue bringing the attention back when it wanders, which you will find happening. So the first 3 are pretty, we start with setting the mind on the object, then we continuously create that focus, maintaining attention for longer and longer periods. And the third, again, bringing attention back when it wanders. So then the 4th is a close placement, which is developing a clear focus more and more on the object. You can see that highlighted there in the drawing, in the drama. And so taming is sometimes the force of effort, recognizing and letting go of distractions is the 5th. The 6th is pacifying. So we begin now to have more calming the distractions and returning to the object with less obscuration and with less obscuration. And then pacifying. This is, you can see that this is a continuous process. And so pacifying or calming the distractions and returning to the object, fully pacifying, this is again a little different, going a little deeper, fully pacified, maintaining calm abiding with minimal distractions. So there's less and less distractions occurring. And then we come to the 8th point, which is a very high level of single-pointed development of absorption or samadhi. And ultimately, then we have equanimity, which is, effortless concentration for extended periods of time. We can say we place the mind and it stays there. I often use the analogy of training our puppy. So when we say stay, does it stay? Not so much. But as we continue down this path, when we say stay, it can stay on the focus or the object of our meditation for extended periods of time, and we can rest in that samadhi or that full concentration. Anyway, other lamas may have more to add to that, but those are the 9.
Mm-hmm. And these particular drawings, there are a number of references to them in various books. My favorite one, which is very short, it's a very short description, is in the previous Kalu Rinpoche's book, Luminous Mind. He talks about each of the stages, because each of the stages are also related with skills that we develop during meditation, and learning how to work with the various sense objects and how to put effort into our practice and so forth. It's a topic all its own. We used to do a 5-day meditation retreat at KTD, and they still do a 5-day shamatha retreat every year at KTD. The first 2, I think, were on the 9 stages. So I'm glad you asked, and hopefully maybe we'll be able to do something on that a little later.
Yeah, I hope that answers the question.
I was just going to say that we're going to have the 3-day one in 2 weekend after next. Khenpo Tenkyang will be back and giving the 3-day meditation shamatha retreat.
Fantastic. So Jared, does that help you? He's got, okay. All right. It's a good start. All right. Our next question from Barbara. She says, I've always been surprised by people who have strong emotions arise while doing shamatha meditation. My biggest problem is falling asleep. I'm wondering what the approximate percentage of folks have strong emotion arise during this. So are you mainly asking, Barb, you're mainly asking about whether emotion, hello, Khenpo Sangye. I'm reporting Barbara's question right now. So Barbara, your main question is, do other people experience strong emotions during shamatha? Is that your question? Okay. The lamas, would anyone like to start with this? Okay. I'll tell you what, Lama Tom, I'm going to start.
Hello, everyone. I would like to start with my dinner first.
Okay. All right.
We just finished medicine Buddha, and then my stomach become totally empty. So I have to make some Dharma offering to myself first. See you very soon. See you very soon.
Okay. See you soon, Khenpo Sangye.
Okay.
I went ahead and muted Khenpo Sangye, but Yunten, pay attention to that in case he tries to, he wants to come back. I wanted to ask Lama Tom, because he was the person who did the program, the class on torpor and agitation. So Lama Tom, would you like to start us off with an answer for Barb? I'm asking you to unmute here.
Sure. It's an interesting question. I think people that experience strong emotions during shamatha That's frequently the case for a beginner. Not that we don't have upheavals in our lives, we do, and then strong emotions do arise. But more often than not, those strong emotions arise, particularly in the beginning. And of course, how do we deal with them? We deal with them as we deal with anything else. We note them and return to the breath, however many times that may take. But that's the practice. As far as falling asleep, there's a lot of questions we could ask Barbara about that. If that's a problem, it may have to do with, Barbara, do you get enough sleep at night? I mean, it can be as simple as that. Or it could be more complicated, and you may need to work on your intention. In the very beginning, say to yourself, and this is not a silly thing to do, it's a practical thing to do. For the next few minutes, I'm going to do nothing else but attend to my meditation, and make that a really strong intention. And that intention sort of can propel you into your meditation. But if you're having trouble in terms of staying with the meditation, you might make it short, not go so long. That might also be helpful. The other thing, as we said before, if you're experiencing a lot of dullness, to raise your gaze. You can do that. That can be helpful. Think of light above you, and project a light above you and think of that way. So the other thing you could think of is that you are filled with bright light, and in your exhalations, you're giving out bright light, and as you're breathing in, bright light comes into you and lights you up. The other thing to look at in terms of being dull is your environment. That can be pretty important. Is your room too warm? Are you wearing too much clothing? So, I mean, those are practical things to look at too. Did you have a big meal before you sat down? So all those things. So you really have to examine yourself as to what's going on. These are just some of the particular ways to look at it, but you'll have to look at that in terms of what am I doing that, more importantly, what could I do to brighten up my my meditation. That's maybe the other lamas could speak to this also.
Yeah. Does anybody else, any one of the lamas have some comments about strong emotions?
So I might mention again, depending on what is meant by strong emotions, it can be a situation where that individual may have had some sort of traumatic event in the past. And what happens in terms of psychology, that event is sort of pressed down, and there's a lot of energy that's used in doing that. And so when you practice shamatha, that relaxes things, releases the energy, and all of a sudden this event starts to bubble up because it's not strapped down, so to speak. If that's sort of the situation, then probably would suggest the person might seek more like some professional help to kind of work through that issue if it's something on that level that's traumatic. It can also be simply that the person does have strong emotions, and this is the first time they've relaxed their mind enough to see it's there. Just like some of the first impressions for meditation in a room, they might start to hear birds or the vent. It's always been there, but you haven't calmed your mind enough to start to experience, your chest pounding or the way that the seat feels when you're sitting. And that's all just sort of part of becoming more aware of the world around you and your senses. So kind of depends on where you wanted to go with strong emotions. But the first one is more of a concern for somebody who's newer and them maybe needing some help initially. The others is just part of normal development of your understanding and your growing of the mind and what's going on around you.
Thank you, Lama Rob. I appreciate that. Thank you, Barb, for your question. We do have another question, and this one is from Wei Wei saying, how does the studying of sutras impact the meditation practice, or is the study of sutras generally unrelated to the practice of shamatha? Oh boy. I myself don't know much about studying the sutras, so if we have anybody who would like to help Wei Wei with this question, that would be wonderful. Well, we may have to call on our scholar, Khenpo Sangye. And see if we can, yeah. Trying to.
Oh, I am with this one now.
Oh, I see. You need a break? Do you need a break to eat your dinner?
This is my sutra now.
I understand.
No, of course, anyone you can answer better than me. I mean, yeah.
No.
My problem is with the language, language. I'm basically here to learn English, actually, to hear from all your guys, because I need to know better English, to be better honest. So, I mean, anyone you can answer, of course, the study sutra will have, I mean, for example, if you like to do, when you use a meditation, there are so many different kind of meditation. Basically, we have like, analytical meditation, and then, resting meditation. And then to do the analytical meditation, then you must have some understanding of the sutra or tantra, whatever. For example, if you like to meditate on the selflessness of person, then how you define through the reasoning of the sutra. So there's so many help, but now I have to help myself, my stomach. So again, of course, anyone you can answer this very well. To be very, very honest, I'm here to learn English from you guys, because all of you, your English is your native language, and at the same time, you know Dharma a lot. And then, this is my job to learn more English. That's why I'm here, actually. So my ears are always open. My mouth is busy with food now.
Thank you, Khenpo Sangye.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. We may.
For example, if you take one short sutra, the very famous sutra, Heart Sutra. If you like to meditate on emptiness, then if you study Heart Sutra very well, you know that you understand very well Heart Sutra, then there will be no problem for you, no confusion for you. You are ready to do the meditation on emptiness, If you don't know that sutra, then it's almost impossible how to do the meditation on emptiness and so forth. So, of course, there are so many the purpose and benefit of studying sutras and tantras.
Wonderful.
Lasso.
Lasso.
Oh, I'm really going to eat.
Okay, yeah, and we'll turn your microphone off for that reason.
Yeah, I'm going to turn it off myself.
We want to, thank you so much, Khenpo Sangye. I really appreciate your attendance at these, and we will try to use the most proper English that we can use for your benefit. Okay? So, all right, wonderful. All right, that's wonderful. And Wei Wei is saying thank you, Khenpo Sangye. So I think that was helpful to the questioner. She said thank you.
So we can also say, just to carry a little bit further from what Khenpo said, that the study of the sutras can, enhance our meditation practice. I think in several ways. The sutras provide guidance and inspiration and deeper understanding of meditation techniques. They don't You know, practice is the main thing, but first we have to know how to do that. So a deeper understanding of meditation techniques and their effects on the mind is important. And reading sutras can help cultivate concentration, illuminate our understanding of meditation, and help us comprehend the Buddhist teaching, just like Khenpo said. So, you know, it prepares the mind for meditation by instilling some mental understanding, and provides a framework for our practice and understanding meditative experiences and the like, and maybe offers some motivation and to clarify the benefits of consistent practice, those kinds of things. Yeah.
Yeah, motivation, inspiration, and all of the rest, right? As
Right.
well as accumulating merit, which is always helpful for the practice. Okay, any other from the lamas? Okay, so now let's see. That appears to be the end of the questions in the chat. So if anyone else would like to ask a question, you can raise your hand.
Lama Kathy,
Yes, sir.
while we're waiting, I could go back to Barbara's question just for a minute, if that's
Sure.
okay. The thought that comes to my mind that whether it's agitation or it's dullness, you have to make a deliberate effort to overcome those obstacles. They aren't necessarily going to go away all of themselves. So you do have to employ some sort of remedy to that. And you can choose different remedies, but these things don't just go away. In fact, if you don't attend to them, they tend to get worse. so I think it's important. We tend to think of meditation as something passive, but it really isn't. We do have to attend to what's happening in our mind, whether it's dullness or agitation.
Thanks so much, Lama Tom. That's appreciated. Well, I'm sort of curious about the folks who are on the call tonight. Have you been trying to do some meditation on a daily basis since you've been taking the class, and how's it going? I'm curious. Yes, Jared.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for this. This is wonderful to be with all of you. So yeah, I have a morning practice, and that was pretty much that gratefully planted by Khenpo Rinpoche. I don't even know how long ago, but he said to do the Tashi prayers. So every morning I make an effort to do that. But I've started to incorporate an evening just meditation, just sitting down and loosely keeping my body comfortable. And I just want to say that trying to do the shamatha practice, where just coming back to the breath repeatedly and just being in the moment, I've actually find it's just a lot of fun, because it's like you do almost compartmentalize, where you just kind of not shut out the world, but you just tune into the world as it is, and at least for me, the nowness of it. And from there, I'm able to kind of just place my mind just in the moment and watch it go from the past to the future and everything, and just being like, wow, it's going everywhere. But to start noticing different qualities with those thoughts, which are, it's interesting because at least for me, what I notice about that is that it's like, wow, I'm able to see that it's not a dark thought. Like it wouldn't be if the color of the thought is illuminated, like it has like almost rainbow quality to it. And I realized that I wouldn't be able to notice it if it wasn't had that kind of illuminating quality to it. Like when you think of the past, you think of certain events. Well, it's almost like the dream essence. It's if you were in a dark dream, you wouldn't know you were dreaming because there's nothing to reference or anything. And so I've started to notice that about my thoughts and taking a step back from it. But yeah, I've really enjoyed that relaxing, coming back to the breath, being kind to yourself, letting things go. And yeah, and it's been a long time, and it's to do that, and then to understand the patience aspect. Like, oh my God, why am I not? It's like, no, dude, no expectation. Like, dude, we're just sitting here just to be. It's just, can we just be happy being alive? Like, Rinpoche says, just feel the air around you and the space in front of you, and it's just be alive and breathe, because and it's interesting. What I like is the thoughts that arise, which are, dude, you're breathing just like everybody else on this planet right now. Everybody's doing the same activity. They're breathing. There's nobody on this planet who's not doing what you're doing right now, which is taking a breath in and out. Now the rate's different, the depth's different, but they're breathing, and that's kind of been a neat experience for me. So I've really enjoyed meditating, just sitting on my cushion and kind of just letting go of my body. So thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Jared. I appreciate that. Any of the lamas have a comment or observation?
Well, I agree with Jared. The regular practice is important, and we live in such a stressful time right now, and our lives are so complicated and stressful. But we can use our meditation practice, to develop a certain calmness, a tranquility, create the space so that we don't have to react to all of the things that come into our reality, our experience every day, and to practice and develop this calmness and tranquility. So, again, it won't be an instant kind of result, but if we are consistent and sincere in our practice, beneficial changes will definitely develop, and you will feel happier. So the basic meditation that we're talking about, this calm abiding or tranquility meditation, shamatha, is that's a Sanskrit word, as you know, in Shinay in Tibetan. But the word meditation in Tibetan, gom, means becoming familiar with our mind, and to see our mind in these various experiences that we have. And often our knee-jerk response to difficulty is that can be frustration or anger or a variety of negative emotions, which can have a very devastating effect on our overall vitality and even our health, our immune system and everything else. So we have to, most of us have not taken the time to really look inward and make friends with our mind. We say my mind, but what does that mean? So at any rate, that is the meaning of meditation, to directly experience, the clear awareness of our mind, and to naturally, in this state, without many distractions from our constant mental chatter, this monkey mind, we begin to tame it. And so we always say that the essence of the Buddha's teaching is to cultivate virtue, to avoid wrongdoing, and to tame our mind. So that's what we're talking about. So we need to devote time, each day to our meditation practice. And so we've been talking about that during the sequence, and we'll continue in this particular seminar to do that and to cultivate the necessary experiences and the qualities and the instruction to do that. But do ask your questions if you do have any particular questions about practice. But it does take time in the art, no matter what it is you do have to spend time, whether it's martial arts or it's whatever you're doing, any art or music or the rest of it. But taming our mind, to really becoming familiar with our mind, is certainly worth doing and requires time and practice and skill, to know how to do that and to be persevering and all those things to get the ultimate result, to have that. I was saying, when we training our puppy, when we say stay, does the mind stay? And can we just work with it? It makes it workable, you know, and we can go deeper, like we were saying, in these 9 stages or 4 stages, as I was presenting to you last week. You can understand where you are with that, and more you'll be able to rest in that mind and create less mental chatter and more happiness, actually. So, yes.
Yeah, thank you, Lama Losang. We appreciate that. Yes, Lama Tom. And Lama Tom, and then after Lama Tom, Lama Yeshe.
The thought that comes to my mind for Jared is to be careful. We can get enchanted with our thoughts. You know, we have these nice thoughts and, oh boy, this is really cool. And that's, I'm speaking from experience. I spent much of my first years of meditation, not meditating, but ruminating, having these beautiful thoughts, thinking those thoughts were meditation, whether or not. We have to be mindful of, I loved what Lama Losang said, which was that we're working on cultivating clear awareness. We're not cultivating beautiful thoughts. We treat thoughts, whether they're good or they're bad, as the same. And we apply the technique. So the important thing here is to be mindful. And what are you mindful of? You're mindful of the technique. The technique is to return to your breath. Again, we can. One of the things that do happen is that initially we do have these nice thoughts because we're sort of calmed down, but we get enchanted with them, and we just we have to be careful about that.
Thank you, Lama Tom. I appreciate it. Lama Yeshe.
Yes, well, again, what has been said so far is very good, and I hope I'm not going to contradict or have you interpret is what I'm saying contradictory. But these thoughts, they usually are, you might say, similar to previous thoughts, and you can get to know yourself a little bit better when you're not meditating off the cushion, thinking about or going over the thoughts that keep coming up. And maybe this is pointing out to something you need to work on. So that's one observation I make. The other is I attended a retreat led by Mingyur Rinpoche one time, and we did a little meditation. Wasn't long, maybe 10 minutes. And then he said, and it was a mixed group. I was there. Obviously, I've meditated more. I'm not a beginner. But he said this, how many people, a show of hands, how many people had very few thoughts? And there were quite a few hands that went up. And, oh, that's very good. And then, how many people have had lots of thoughts? And a lot of hands went up. And he said, oh, that's very good. And then he said, what's good about it is both groups had an idea of how many thoughts they were having, as opposed to just. So it's not necessarily bad that you're having a lot of thoughts, but with the awareness, then you can work with them.
Thank you. Thank you, Lama Yeshe. Let's see. We actually have another question. And so we can move into this. Tom from Chicago KTC says, I do my mantras almost daily, although he says I do miss some days. The problem is I struggle with insomnia, and not becoming dull can take extra focus. I do start off every session by going through the 4 thoughts that turn the mind toward Dharma, and that helps very much. Appreciate you sharing that, Tom. I think there are maybe other people who share this. Any of the lamas have comments about this observation?
I don't know if this is going to help. I guess I should have raised my hand.
All
But
right. No, don't worry, Lama. I mean,
yeah,
Lama. Oh, Yeshe.
the last few years I've had insomnia too. And sometimes I go into the shrine room to practice. And so I don't know if this is a good suggestion or not, but sometimes I just get up, dedicate the merit, get up, get out of the shrine room, maybe even take a nap, but do something else. Don't force it. Don't try to, fit yourself into a mold that you don't fit in. I guess a square peg in a round hole kind of situation. But then come back later and start over again.
Thank you, Lama Yeshe. Appreciate that observation. It's from experience, right?
It's from experience, yes.
Any of the other lamas have comments they'd like to make on this?
Okay, yes, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think, with as far as the dullness, that's, I think, been covered pretty well with what others have said. I think you found something yourself that helps with as far as the four thoughts. So essentially anything that inspires you. So if that particular text inspires you, then that's great, and you found something that helps. It may be reading different namtars, or it may be reading a particular text that's inspiring, or listening to a little bit of your teacher, their talks and so forth before. But whatever kind of helps brighten things up. The other things that have been mentioned, I think, are also excellent. Maybe there is issues with the sleep, not getting enough sleep. You said insomnia, so that might be fixation on certain thoughts, and as a result, it's hard to sleep. So hopefully continuing the practice, the shamatha, will help sort of bring that down.
Okay, thank you. Lama Losang, did you wish to comment?
Well, we are not doing shamatha to fall asleep, but you can use that technique. What you'll find when you're not distracted, and at night when you're trying to fall asleep, you can really get bombarded by those thoughts one after another. That is that first stage, water over the waterfall. The waterfall, aspect is the first stage of shamatha that we talked about. So when I start meditation, I often tell my students to do 21 breaths for 21 days. But many of you are already, good meditators. But at night, following the breath, inhaling, being aware of that, top of the breath, exhaling, and just counting the exhale, 1. And see if you can get just from 1 to 21 in that state at night. To help bring your mind to a state of equanimity. So those thoughts are beginning to, you're disengaging from those thoughts and putting your attention on something like the breath to keep it there. And you'll see, oh, another thought, bring it back again to the breath, again and again. So that can be, again, we talk about counting sheep or things like that before you go to bed. You can count the breath in that way. And so distracting your mind in that way is basically what we're doing when we count the breath. We're giving the mind something to do instead of ruminating and comparing and contrasting and analyzing and all the things it does. So that's just another strategy.
Okay, thank you, Lama Losang. I know that from our experience in Columbus KTC teaching shamatha to newcomers, one of the most important things we found and that's helpful is noticing when our attention has wandered from the breath, and then noticing, then being able to touch that distracting thought lightly. You can even label it like thinking or whatever and let it go, and then bring the attention back to the breath for a fresh start. I remember in Khenpo Karthar Rinpoche's books, he says you can have as many fresh starts as you want in a session. So I thought that was a really a very encouraging piece of advice. It's all about coming back and coming back and coming back with this incredible gentleness and self-compassion, not being harsh with oneself and so on. So I think that works with your metaphor of training your puppy, doesn't it, Lama Losang?
Yes, it does. But being gentle with yourself too. You can't be harsh with the puppy nor with your mind when you're going through this, but you have to be consistent. Yes.
Thank you.
And
so
non-judgmental, not harsh. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Any other comments here, or should we go on to the next question? Okay, let's check the chat. Oh, looks like there are no more questions. Can any of the folks in the group?
There are some.
Oh, there are? I'm missing it.
Yes.
I missed it.
Right after Tom's question, Barbara had a question that it said 8:40 is the timestamp on it.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, I see it. It's a comment. She says, I too sometimes have interesting thoughts during meditation, but then when I bring my attention back to the breath, the nice thoughts really do disappear. And then I forget them forever. That doesn't seem to be desirable in the world we live in, unless our head is overly stuffed, leading to distraction. Okay, thank you. Thank you for pointing that out, Yenten. I appreciate it. Any comments from our lamas? Okay. All right. So, oh yes, Lama Yeshe.
Yes, I've even had people say that they've kept a pad of paper on by their meditation cushion so they can write these nice thoughts down. And maybe they will disappear, but on the other hand, the benefit of meditation is such that when you're out in the world, you will still be putting some, you might say, some goodness into the world, even if it might not be the words that you can't remember. So let go of the thoughts, whether they're good, bad, neutral. That's the point of meditation. And also talking about the world today, that if there's one thing that everybody needs today is to have some space in between when the thought comes into your head and the words come out of your mouth. I'm done.
I think we can all relate to that, Lama Yeshe. We can all relate. I see that there's a couple of comments, and let's see. Lily says, I had experience before that when emotion rises, after looking at the bodily sensations a while, the thought driven the emotion starts to reveal itself, and the whole emotion is gone. Since when I meditate on emotions, probably since then, when I meditate on emotions, although I am working with bodily sensations, I tried to see what is the thought behind it. So the thought behind the emotion.
Sorry for interrupt. I haven't. Can I continue here? Live?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sorry. It's not convenient for me to put myself on video. So the question is, when I try to see the emotion, the thoughts behind the emotion, then it become a very strong desire. because in the past I had good experience, which I described earlier, right? I'm convinced that the emotion is driven by a heavy thought. So next time when the emotion comes up, although I'm looking at the bodily sensation, but I have this motivation hidden, which says I'm looking at the bodily emotion, so it might as well, the thought should come up soon. So that actually itself become a strong desire, which I can see it gets in the way of the meditation, which foster more emotion come up. So I realize this is an issue, but sometimes I cannot help myself of having that kind of, drive. I wonder if there will be any advice or helpful suggestions.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think what I'd like to do is, Lily, if it's okay with you, I'd like to see if I can rephrase the question, maybe in a brief way. You tell me if I get this right, okay? What I understand you're saying is that sometimes when you are meditating, you have an emotion, and after looking at the bodily sensation, the thought that drives the emotion begins to reveal itself, and then the emotion is gone. And so it says, I try to see what the thought is behind the emotion. And then as the second half of the question is, but then that turns into a strong desire, and that gets in the way of being totally open with the emotion. Is that a good way of stating your question?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. Lama friends, do you have some observations or thoughts that might be helpful for Lily?
Kathy, could you explain the second part again, because I'm not sure I understand?
Yes. The process, the way I understand it, is that the process of feeling the emotion and seeing, getting the bodily sensation and letting go of the emotion. I think what it is that the looking into the emotion to see what kind of thought prompted the emotion. Am I getting that, Lily?
Yes.
That looking
Exactly.
for the thought that prompted the emotion then produces a strong desire to
Yes.
find that thought.
Yes.
That gets in the way of feeling the emotion. So I think it seems like it's a few things layered on top of each other here.
Yes, so although superficially I'm still looking at the bodily sensation, but behind there is strong desire to say, okay, I'm looking at you, bodily sensation. Please tell me what is the thought behind you.
I see. Right. Okay. Well, there's a couple things that could be said about this. Let's see who would like to start. Lama Tom, would you like to start on this?
Emotion is sort of like a mental event in itself, and just recognizing that it's there. The first thing I would suggest, if you recognize it's there, try to go back to the object of your meditation. And that's, we can get very complicated here, and we have to be careful with that. It's, in one respect, meditation is very simple, but our minds are complicated, aren't they? And so the remedy here is to remember the technique. I think that's important. So, I mean, I don't know that I have too much more to say than that. I'm sure there's more to be said, but that's what I could say at the moment.
Lama Tom, I think I understand what you're saying, but let's see if I understand it correctly. I think the question really behind all of this is, what is the object of any period, right? What's the object of shamatha meditation? Is the object of shamatha meditation to identify emotions or identify thoughts, or is it to touch and then release the emotions and thoughts? Does that make sense? Because this is what I think I'm hearing you say, is that to then look into the thoughts and look into the emotions and then develop this strong desire. It does seem to make the process a little more complicated. I think that's what I'm hearing you say, is that if the main object of shamatha, which is what was explained to us when we learned it, is to notice and let go. Notice and let go of thoughts and then return. Whether the thought is a good thought or a bad thought, whether the emotion is a good emotion or a bad emotion, you let them all go and practice returning, practice returning, practice returning. And then gradually over time, I remember His Eminence Tsultrim Rinpoche said that when you begin working with the 6th and 7th of the 9 stages of shamatha, that's when you begin to identify the themes. That's how he put it, the themes in your mental wandering. So trying to identify the themes and the emotions in your mental wandering really early in the process might be a little complicated. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, it's a natural thing to want to know where it's natural to want to know where an emotion comes from, but it might actually be easier at the beginning just to let them all go. And then when you're not sitting and not meditating, you might have some thoughts. I don't know. Lily, are these thoughts helpful at all to you?
Yes, they are very helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else, any of the other lamas have comments on this one?
I agree with you, Lama, that the important thing is to return again and again to your meditation object and not go down the rabbit hole with the why or what for or all those other things that can just be one thought after another. And that is really not the purpose of our shamatha. It is to make the mind workable and to stay steady and one-pointedly fixed on our object of meditation, whether it's the breath or an object, an image of the Buddha, or a rock or a twig or whatever it might be. But to again, it doesn't really matter where that came from, what that feeling, I don't know that we're even going to know what that is. There's so many possibilities that where that can arise, and that is a rabbit hole that is not necessary to go down. But we recognize the mind. It doesn't want to do that. It wants to compare, contrast, analyze, like we were saying. That is the nature of the mind as well, and that's what we're trained to do. But this, for shamatha, to hit the tranquility and the workability of the mind, we have to train it. And we do that by bringing it back to the focus of our meditation. And I think both Lama Tom and Lama Kathy are suggesting that. And I just want to say that I agree with that. And so instead of getting lost in more thoughts, feelings, emotions, and try to find a history of why we might be thinking of that, that is probably going to be not so helpful, actually. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, Lama Tom?
Yeah, I really think what Lama San says is really important. Mingyur Rinpoche says we have this monkey mind, and part of monkey mind's job is analyzing, looking at, trying to figure out, and so forth. And we're going to train this monkey mind, and we give this monkey mind a job. which is to observe, be mindful of the object of our meditation. And so we're giving this mind that otherwise analyzes and brings up thoughts and so forth, we're giving them that job so that eventually, as Lama Losang says, we develop a clearer awareness. I love that phrase, that we're developing over time clear awareness, which is, you know, something very valuable in this world and on our spiritual journey.
Thank you, Lama Tom. I appreciate that. Let's see, Lama Rob, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, just to kind of build on what's already been said. The goal of meditation to maintain your awareness and then not to fixate on what occurs in that awareness, whether it's thoughts, emotions, or feelings. So like has already been said, you're going down the rabbit hole of a thought generating a feeling and then generating a bodily sensation and then trying to go back to the original thought. But meditation is just to let go of that fixation and relax in what is, just in the awareness itself as best you can. The other thing is trying to recreate any type of meditational experience doesn't go well. First, it's very hard. Meditation experience is just experience. It comes, it goes, and you don't fixate on what happens. The next experience will come and it will go. So if you try too hard, if you try to recreate something, it's not letting the next thing come up. It's not letting you progress. So, but that was all.
I appreciate that, Lama Rob. I want to point out something interesting, which is that there is a theme. You have to forgive me. I was a writer, a newspaper writer before I got this job of talking about Dharma. And I'd like to mention that there's a theme that seems to repeat here. And that is that something that Jared brought up was really interesting to me. The idea is that, and Lama Tom mentioned this as well, which is the idea of mind, and Lama and also Lama Losang, that mind becomes workable. Because right now it is like that, our mind is a little wild, like an untamed dog that's leading us on a walk. And sometimes people feel out of control of their thoughts, feelings, and emotions. They feel completely out of control. And so sitting and meditating and letting those thoughts go over and over and over again strengthens some muscles in the muscles of letting go. Because if you remember from the Buddha's Four Noble Truths, suffering is part of life. It has a cause, and that cause is clinging and fixation. And so then if clinging and fixation is the cause of suffering, then letting go should be the answer. But how do you let go? How do I learn how to let go? You learn how to let go on the meditation cushion first with something easy, like just being aware of the breath as it comes and goes and letting go of all other inputs. And something that Jared mentioned was about the space that can develop between thoughts. And the idea that thoughts I brought this in, Jared, that thoughts are kind of discontinuous. You can let them go. And what that tells you, when you can actually let that thought go, that shows that you can actually begin to change your thoughts. You can actually begin to change and, you know, and to find that workability and change thoughts when you're not meditating. Not necessarily you change them on the cushion, but because you're just busy letting go on the cushion. You're busy letting go. And then when you're not on the cushion, you'll begin to notice that things that once caused you to react, they talk about the knee-jerk reaction. Those things that used to make you react don't make you react in the same way as they used to. And that's what brings the feeling of relief, I think, to many people. So I just thought I would put those things together. Oh, and Lama Yeshe, I have to tell you a funny story. Khenpo Karthar Rinpoche, because I'm a writer, I used to keep a pad of paper next to my meditation seat to write down great ideas for stories. And Khenpo Rinpoche scolded me about that. He said, "No, that's not what you're doing. You know, just there is no good idea that you could possibly have that would be worth one moment of meditation. You know." And so he said, "But if you insist, he said, you can make a promise to yourself that when you have a brilliant thought, you can say, okay, when I stop meditating, may that thought still be there, but it's still, you take a chance."
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
lost my interconnection while you were doing that whole talk.
I'm so sorry. Well,
That's all right. Everybody else heard
I'll
it.
catch up with you. I'll catch up with you on that later. Okay. I'll catch
Yeah.
up. It's just that Rinpoche scolded me for keeping the pad. He said, just let it all
I
go.
heard that part. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Oh, sorry. Oh, gosh. Okay. So Lily is checking back in. Thank you for checking in back in, Lily, because it was a really fascinating and good question that could help a lot of people. Some people think that when they ask a question, it's not helpful, but it's helpful to lots of people. And it says, I was trying to meditate on emotions. But I guess I was aiming of the result of transforming the emotion and let the hidden thought reveal itself. Yeah. Well, you know, when we start talking about Losang, mind training, where one looks into emotions, that will be the next course that we teach. Right now, the course right now is shamatha. So we're going to encourage people to, for this class, we'll encourage people to let go of all thoughts and emotions. That's the job. But if you want to meditate on emotions, then the practice of Losang, which will be the next class that we have, we'll be teaching the mind training, where you learn how to work with emotions while they are happening. It's a fascinating topic. I hope you can join us for it. That will follow this one. Anyone else have comments, lamas? Any lamas have questions or comment? Yeah, she says she's looking forward to it. Way to go. Okay, we'll see you there, Lily. Let's see. Next question is from David. Yeah, we still have some time. We have about 10, 15 minutes.
Lama,
Yes, Khenpo Sangye.
maybe Lily get confused with the next class or next level, because next class I'm teaching is karma, understanding karma. Can you clarify that? It's not what you said, next level or next?
Oh, not the next class, but the next topic.
Because you said next class, so.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Khenpo Sangye.
Just to make sure people don't misunderstand. Next class, next Wednesday, I'm going to teach, and the topic is understanding the karma and Buddhist ethics.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, Khenpo Sangye, I tell you what, I wonder sometimes, because even though English is my first language, I am not clearly communicating sometimes. So I really appreciate your help in helping me communicate clearly. When I said the next class, I should not have said that, because the next class is about karma. So Lily, the next topic that we're going to be talking about, which will be a whole set of, I think it's right now, it's like 15 to 20 classes.
Yes, series of classes, yes.
It's the next series of classes. Thank you. I tell you what, some days I need a lot of help. So thank you, Khenpo Sangye, and thank you, Lama.
So next Wednesday, people will going to listen my broken English.
And they will love every word, Khenpo Sangye. They will love every word.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. So now I think, David, we're ready to go on to your to your question now. Okay. So David explains, I am trying to establish a consistent practice every morning. Good for you. That's excellent. I begin with contemplating the 4 thoughts, then the 4 immeasurable meditations, then shamatha. I finish with a short attempt at Tonglen, or the compassion meditation. I can't sit for very long, but try to do it regularly. I have not participated in any meditation group because I live far away, but that would probably be helpful. Oh yeah, I think it would be. We have several KTCs that offer regular meditation online. So let's see if our lamas have any thoughts about this. Because Lama Yeshe, do you offer the group meditation online?
We do occasionally. We do a lot of chanting, and then once a month online. Yes.
That's great. So, so if you can look up the Hay River KTC on Google and get that address. Meanwhile, Lama Losang, do you in Florida, do you have a regular online meditation that David could visit?
We do, Gainesville KTC, and that is on Sundays. And we do actually we do a number of things on Sunday. We actually start with a little qigong to warm up and get our qi moving, and then we do a sitting practice, and then we have reading a particular text. We're actually using the book on karma now. And then we do our practices of Chenrezig and Amitabha and Guru Rinpoche. So there's a combination, of course, Gainesville KTC. KTC means Karma Thegsum Choling, where the three ayanas are taught and the vehicles. So we talk about those things and we practice those things. So you're welcome to join us from 9 to about 12 on Sundays.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I think there's also some, is there any, at Dallas KTC, Lama Rob, do you have any online meditation?
It's kind of been hit or miss.
Okay.
I think he was doing it for a while, and then Seth, he's our social media person. So he was very knowledgeable about all of that. But I don't think we're doing that right now.
Okay. Well, that's okay. I just wanted to check in. And I'm going to put on chat Columbus KTC, where Lama Tom and I are. We have online meditation every 10 a.m. Sunday Eastern Time. 10 a.m. Sunday Eastern Time, and you can join us for a group sitting, and that might help you. But I understand, David. I want to say I think it's really great that you're trying to establish a consistent practice. I think that's wonderful, and I think the combination of things you're doing is good. And Tonglen is actually meant, at least from Khenpo Karthar Rinpoche's point of view. When he taught Tonglen, he always said that it should be a very short meditation, so you don't have to do too much. But if you want an instruction on it, Khenpo Karthar Rinpoche gives a very nice, easy practice of Tonglen that you can read out loud to yourself and do in like 5 minutes or so. In his book Dharma Paths, it's page 118, page 119. It's very brief and very, very powerful. Good blessing.
Where does David live? Where does David live? Where is he?
I don't know. Let's find out. Hey, David, can you tell us some more?
Because there may be something around him that he's not aware of.
Oh, it's also possible. Let's see. He may not be able to comment. Yeah, okay. That's all right. Here we go. About an hour away from Woodstock, New York. So yeah, it depends on what part of
direction.
the state.
I mean, Albany or Woodstock. Yeah, KTD is in Woodstock.
Yeah.
We do have a weekly meditation group at KTD, and that's available. I'm just looking up the timing on that. I believe it's during the week.
Okay. So there's a couple of options you've got there, David. I
Yes.
know that Carme Ling 3-year retreat center, if you're more the Delaware County side, it also has some regular sessions, but you'd have to check that out on their website.
There may be something up in Albany too. Maybe.
Yeah, Albany is also another.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It's in Thursday mornings at 10 a.m. and it's in the Amitabha Shrine Room at KTD. It's not online.
Okay, David says he's up in the mountains, so yeah. So if you can check out some of the online options for now and get down to KTD from time to time when it's possible. Okay, well, let's see. Yes, Lama Tom. Oh,
You're
sorry.
muted,
Need to unmute.
Tom, you're muted.
Yeah, it's not working. Oh, darn. Yen 10, can you assist?
What's the problem?
Lama Tom cannot
Lama
unmute.
Tom is muted. He can't seem to unmute himself.
Can you
Okay.
assist, Yen 10?
You should be able to. He's a co-host.
Okay, so let's try something else. I got another idea.
I'm gonna withdraw co-host and make him co-host again. Maybe that'll solve it.
And then let's try. Let's see. Because I think we can make this happen. Just have to figure out how.
Okay, he's co-host again, so maybe he might be able to. Should be able to unmute.
Yeah, not yet.
Oh, darn.
Yeah. Not working.
Yeah, okay. Well, gosh. This is the human condition, is it not? This is what we call it samsara, friends. I'm sorry.
I think it's a Zoom condition.
Zoom condition. That's right.
Zoom is acting as a Mara.
Oh. All right. Let's see here. Then, it says, it looks like there was a question buried in my messages above. Uh-oh. Did we miss your question, Lily? Or somebody else's question? Let's see. Oh, you know what? I think it's a comment about Qigong. I think I saw something there. Sorry about that. Wait. It says, not sure if it's recommended, but I tend to combine my meditation practice with Qigong or yoga. I find it very helpful in preparing my body and mind for the sitting, and it helps with tiredness, dullness, and agitation. Was that what I missed? Yeah, okay. Looks like that's what I missed. Well, I'm asking the lamas if they have any thoughts about this. I think Lama Losang, if I remember, you just said that you folks practice Qigong at the beginning.
We do. And for just that reason, it does help to wake us up and strengthen the body and to make us more coherent and clear the mind and all those things. So yoga too, yoga pranayama or breathing exercises, that was kind of a preliminary to do the Raja Yoga, the Kingly Yoga, all these things, and the asanas themselves were to enhance your sitting practice for extended periods of time, so that you could sit comfortably. So yes, all those things are fine to do. No harm in it.
Yes, Lama Tom.
I got
it. You did.
Yeah. So I wanted to go back to what David was talking about, and I wanted to reflect what you already said, which I think he's got the right setup in what he's doing. I think it's perfect what he's developed there, and I think it's perfectly okay to do short sessions. In fact, that's what's recommended, particularly for a beginner. So I think that's great that what he's doing, And I just want to reinforce what you said, Lama Kathy, to keep up the good work.
Absolutely. All right. No, thank you. Thank you, Lama Tom. I think we all need encouragement. I mean, it is really something that once you meditate for a while, people tell me often that after they've been meditating for a little while, the thing that generally people tell me is they say, "Wow, I didn't know how many thoughts I had." That's one thing that people say a lot. And then because their awareness, they're coming to an awareness of their thoughts. And then the other thing they say is that, wow, the things that used to upset me don't upset me as much. They still upset me, but they don't upset me quite as much because the reaction is a little bit quieter. Right.
There's one other thing I wanted to say, which is David said that group experiences can be very helpful, and it is. Sometimes when you're in a group, you can actually sort of borrow other people's strength. You're sort of down and out, and looking at others and being around others who are maintaining their practice can strengthen you. So I think it is true that group meditation can be very helpful, and I hope he can join in some online group.
Mm-hmm. I've noticed that even about Zoom meditation, to be honest.
Yeah.
Zoom is we're getting better at it, I think, as human beings. I think we're figuring it out. Yes, Lama, Yeshe.
Well, I believe Khenpo Rinpoche said if you are practicing with 6 other people in the room, you accumulate the karma of, or the merit of 7 people practicing, yourself and the other 6. So if you're a little, down on your merit, you could accumulate a lot more by practicing with other people.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Lama Yeshe. Okay, well, we're coming down. We have time for one more question. If there is one more question out there. Not seeing a question. So I think what that means is that we sit briefly. We sit and meditate together. We'll give everybody a little bit of a group meditation experience. Okay, so refreshing the instructions that you have that you've had about shamatha, allowing your body to come to rest in the 7-point posture, beginning with the legs and the seat and the back and the shoulders, the hands, then the arms, the chin, the gaze, and the tip of the tongue, allowing the body to rest, beginning perhaps with a mental wish to benefit sentient beings through the practice that you're going to do for the next few minutes. You can begin with a deep breath, breathing out, and then allowing the breath to come and go naturally, following the course of the breath with your attention. We'll sit for maybe 2-3 minutes, but I think that will be a short meditation for us. Okay, that's a short meditation. Thank you. And now returning to the group. And we can mentally dedicate the merit from our session together this evening and make the aspiration that all beings are free from suffering and come to Buddhahood. And coming to Buddhahood, may they emanate in all directions and benefit sentient beings. I'd like to thank Khenpo Sangye and Lama Losang, Lama Rav, Lama Tam, Lama Yeshe, and all of you for being with us tonight. Thank you so much to all the lamas for your question for the questions and answers. And so we will see you next week for Khenpo Sangye's talk about karma and the effects of Buddhist ethics, right? Yes, karma,
Yes.
cause and effect, and Buddhist ethics.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank
all
you,
of
Lama
you.
Kathy. Thank you, Lama.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone, for
Thank you.
joining us. Good night.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Yunten, for being our host with the most.
Yes, thank you, Yunten.
Yes, thank you, Yonten.
Thank you all.
And thank you very much, all of you who asked questions. Very nice questions.
Yes, really good. Thank you.
Thank you and good night.
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 Good night.